The unexpected guest. The quantum displacement sensors aboard the New Hawaii Defense Station lit up like a Christmas tree, ironic, given it was December 24, 2157. Captain Sarah Chen rubbed her tired eyes, wondering if the late-night shift was finally getting to her. But no, this was different from the usual background noise of attempted incursions by the galactic powers. After humanity's great phase shift a decade ago, such attempts had become routine and meaningless. "Ma'am," Lieutenant Rodriguez called from his station, "we're picking up something unusual. It's a small vessel, frigate class, but it's broadcasting on every known frequency." Chen straightened in her chair. Since humanity's departure from standard spacetime into their pocket dimension, no alien species had managed meaningful contact. They'd tried, of course, the Kataskan Imperium alone had attempted invasion 17 times. But this was different. "Play the broadcast," she ordered, her curiosity piqued. The voice that filled the command center was unlike anything they'd heard before, hesitant, almost apologetic. "Hello humans. I understand that your introduction to the galaxy was not exactly what we would call friendly." The entire bridge crew exchanged glances. This was new. Usually, it was all threats and demands for submission. "Analysis?" Chen asked her AI companion, Arya. "The vessel appears to be a private merchant craft," Arya responded. "Minimal weapons, standard shielding. The pilot identifies as Thrax Thran Tar of the Saranai Imperium." Interesting note, the Saranai were not among the aggressors during the First Contact War. Chen studied the holographic display of the small ship. It had deliberately positioned itself in a defunct docking bay, careful not to interfere with regular traffic despite being phase-shifted from their dimension. This wasn't the behavior of a spy or saboteur. "What's more interesting," Arya continued, "is that he's broadcasting using outdated human commercial frequencies. These haven't been used since before the shift. He's done his homework." Chen made a decision. "Initiate protocol First Contact Revival. Let's bring him across." "Captain," her XO, Commander James Williams, stepped forward. "Are you sure? We haven't allowed any crossing since the shift." Chen smiled, gesturing to the decorated halls of the station. "It's Christmas Eve, James. And for the first time in a decade, someone's knocked on our door politely instead of trying to break it down. Besides," she added with a wink, "I've always wondered what aliens think of eggnog." The phase shift engineers went to work, their quantum manipulators precisely calibrating to the merchant vessel's dimensional frequency. It was delicate work. One mistake could scatter the aliens' atoms across 11 dimensions. But humanity hadn't spent the last decade resting on their laurels. Their mastery of phase shift technology had grown exponentially. Thrax Thran Tar, for his part, was experiencing several emotions simultaneously: terror, excitement, and a peculiar sensation he would later learn humans called butterflies in the stomach, despite his species having neither butterflies nor a stomach in the conventional sense. As his ship was drawn into humanity's pocket dimension, he got his first true look at New Hawaii Station. The massive structure shimmered with an inner light that seemed to bend reality itself, its architecture a perfect blend of function and ethereal beauty. And everywhere, there were lights, red, green, white, and gold, arranged in patterns he didn't understand but found strangely captivating. "Merchant Tar," a warm female voice came through his comm system, "welcome to New Hawaii Station. I'm Captain Sarah Chen. If you're amenable, we'd like to invite you aboard for, well, we call it Christmas dinner." Thrax's secondary heart nearly stopped. Direct contact. Success. Though he had no idea what this Christmas dinner was, he hoped it didn't involve the ritual consumption of visiting merchants, a practice still uncomfortably common in some parts of the galaxy. The docking procedure was smoother than any he'd experienced, the station's systems seamlessly integrating with his ship's ancient control interfaces. As the airlock cycled, he straightened his ceremonial trading robes and checked his universal translator one final time. The airlock door slid open to reveal Captain Chen, flanked by 2 officers. She was shorter than he'd expected. Most spacefaring species tended toward the larger side, but carried herself with unmistakable authority. And she was, smiling. Merchant Tar, she extended her hand, then quickly withdrew it, remembering that not all species were comfortable with physical contact. I hope you'll forgive the unexpected invitation, but you've caught us at a rather special time. Thrax's crystalline eyes adjusted, taking in the decorated corridor behind them. I am honored, Captain. Though I must admit, I did not expect such a welcome. The stories we hear are probably all true, Chen finished for him. We did phase shift our entire civilization into a pocket dimension to avoid genocide. Not exactly the friendliest first impression. But, she gestured for him to follow, that was then. Today is Christmas Eve, and you're our first visitor in a decade who hasn't tried to shoot us. That makes you special. As they walked through the station, Thrax's diplomatic training struggled to process everything he saw. The humans moved with an easy confidence he'd never witnessed in other species. Their technology was seamlessly integrated into their environment in ways that defied conventional engineering. And these decorations, trees inside a space station. Strings of lights everywhere. Small fabric tubes hung on walls. Captain, he ventured carefully, I notice your station seems to be experiencing some sort of festival. Chen laughed, a sound that made Thrax's translator squawk in confusion. Christmas, she explained. It's an ancient Earth holiday. A time of peace, joy, and giving. A time when we remember that even in the darkest night, light and hope persist. She paused, considering something. You know, it's rather fitting you arrived today. The original Christmas story was also about unexpected visitors coming from afar, following a star. They entered what appeared to be a gathering space, filled with humans of various ages and appearances. The room was warm, filled with enticing aromas Thrax's olfactory sensors couldn't quite categorize. A massive decorated tree dominated one corner, while humans sat in small groups, talking and laughing. I don't understand, Thrax admitted. Your species possesses technology that could likely conquer half the galaxy. You could have retaliated against those who threatened you. Instead, you simply left. And now you celebrate. Chen guided him to a seat, where a young human immediately offered him something called a cookie. That's exactly why we left, she explained. Humanity learned long ago that the greatest victories don't come from destroying your enemies, but from rising above the need for destruction altogether. We chose to step aside not out of fear, but out of a desire to find a better way. As Thrax cautiously sampled the cookie, which his biological analysis suite confirmed was both safe and unreasonably delicious, Chen continued. But we never meant to hide forever. We were waiting. Waiting? Thrax asked, accepting another cookie from the increasingly delighted human child. For someone to approach us as equals. As potential friends rather than conquests or subjects. Someone, she smiled, exactly like you. The implications hit Thrax like a quantum surge. You mean? Merchant Tar, Chen raised a glass of something red and sweet-smelling. How would you like to be the first official trade representative to humanity? It seems to me that the galaxy could use a little more Christmas spirit, and you've already proven you understand the most important part, knowing how to knock politely. As the humans around him cheered and the child tried to place something called a Santa hat on one of his sensory stalks, Thrax realized that his simple attempt at peaceful contact had somehow turned into something far more significant. He was about to become part of history, again. And somewhere in the back of his mind, he began composing the message he would send to his superiors: humans celebrate something called Christmas. Recommend immediate diplomatic study. Warning, involves excessive cookies. Send reinforcements. The message spreads. The news of Thrax's successful contact with humanity spread through the Galactic Council like a quantum cascade. Within hours of his first transmission back to Serenai space, the political landscape of the galaxy underwent a seismic shift. The great powers that had spent a decade trying to breach humanity's dimensional barrier suddenly found themselves scrambling to understand how a mid-level merchant had accomplished what their mightiest fleets could not. Admiral Kvax of the Kataskan Imperium crushed the holographic projector in his grip as he watched Thrax's broadcast for the 100th time. The merchant's detailed description of human hospitality, their technological prowess, and something called gingerbread houses had quickly become the most shared data packet in recent galactic history. Impossible, Kvax growled. Their defensive capabilities must be weakening. Why else would they suddenly accept visitors? His senior analyst, Dr. Mrrrow Felines, cleared her throat nervously. Sir, according to Merchant Tar's data, they were never truly defensive. The phase shift was more like closing a door. They were simply waiting for someone to knock instead of trying to break it down. And this? Christmas? Kvax demanded. Some kind of psychological warfare? Actually, Mrrrow brought up her research findings. It appears to be a genuine cultural celebration. I've been analyzing historical data from Earth's pre-contact internet archives. Christmas was indeed a major human festival, focused on themes of peace, generosity, and something called figgy pudding, though I'm still unclear on that last part. Meanwhile, aboard New Hawaii Station, Thrax found himself becoming something of a celebrity. After that first Christmas Eve dinner, Captain Chen had invited him to stay as an official cultural liaison. His quarters had been hastily modified to accommodate his species' need for higher gravity in methane-rich atmosphere, but he spent most of his time in the station's common areas, fascinated by human customs. So these stockings, he asked Lisa Martinez, the station's cultural affairs officer, they are not actually used for foot coverings. Lisa laughed, adjusting the Santa hat that Thrax now wore proudly on his central sensory stalk. No, they're for presents. It's an old tradition. Children hang them up on Christmas Eve, and Santa Claus fills them with small gifts and treats. Ah yes, the mysterious Santa entity, Thrax made notes on his data pad. A being capable of faster-than-light travel, matter manipulation for chimney access, and temporal manipulation to visit all children in one night. Truly, humans had achieved remarkable technological advancement even before the phase shift. Well, actually. Lisa began, but was interrupted by an urgent announcement. All senior staff and diplomatic personnel to the command center, Captain Chen's voice echoed through the station. We're receiving multiple diplomatic requests for contact. Repeat, multiple diplomatic requests. When Thrax arrived at the command center with Lisa, he found it buzzing with activity. The main display showed dozens of ships approaching New Hawaii Station, not warships this time, but diplomatic vessels, merchant ships, and even what appeared to be alien tourist cruisers. What did you write in that report, Merchant Tar? Commander Williams asked, though his tone was more amused than accusatory. I merely described my experiences, Thrax replied, somewhat defensively. The warmth of human hospitality, the technological marvels I witnessed, the delicious cookies, oh, and I might have mentioned that humanity possesses the most advanced phase shift technology in known space while maintaining a cultural dedication to peace and celebration. Well, Captain Chen smiled, reviewing the incoming transmission logs, it seems your report has caused quite a stir. We're receiving requests for diplomatic relations from 17 different species. The Serenai Imperium has officially appointed you as their ambassador to humanity. And, she chuckled, there are at least 36 merchant vessels requesting permission to establish Christmas markets in human space. Christmas markets? Thrax's crystalline eyes sparkled with interest. An old Earth tradition, Lisa explained. During the holiday season, merchants would set up special markets selling festive goods, foods, and gifts. They were very popular in many cultures. Captain, Arya interrupted, incoming priority transmission from Earth Central Command. The Phase Shift Council has made a decision regarding the diplomatic requests. The holographic figure of Admiral Helena Rodriguez, Earth's chief diplomatic officer, appeared in the center of the room. Captain Chen, in light of recent developments, the Council has approved a limited cultural exchange program. We're calling it the Christmas Star Initiative. Select diplomatic and merchant vessels will be permitted to cross into our phase space, under strict protocols. The Christmas Star Initiative? Chen raised an eyebrow. Rodriguez smiled. Well, we needed a name that captured the spirit of the program. Building bridges, offering guidance, bringing light to the darkness. Besides, marketing thought it would play well with the public. As the command staff discussed logistics, Thrax found himself drawn to the station's observation deck. The swirling quantum barriers that separated humanity's pocket dimension from normal space created beautiful aurora-like effects, and now dozens of alien ships waited patiently beyond them, not with weapons charged, but with hopes of peaceful contact. Quite a change from 10 years ago, isn't it? Lisa had followed him to the observation deck. Indeed, Thrax agreed. Though I admit, I'm surprised by how quickly attitudes have shifted. The great powers of the galaxy are not known for their flexibility. Sometimes people just need to be shown a better way, Lisa said. You know, there's an old Earth saying, it is better to light a candle than curse the darkness. When humanity chose to phase shift rather than fight, many saw it as retreat. But maybe we were just waiting for the right moment to light that candle. The next few days were a blur of activity. Under the Christmas Star Initiative, the first wave of diplomatic vessels was carefully brought across the phase barrier. New Hawaii Station quickly transformed into an impromptu interstellar cultural center. Alien diplomats marveled at human technology while becoming inexplicably obsessed with holiday traditions. The Mrrrow, a feline-like species known for their standoffish nature, became enchanted with Christmas trees, claiming the tradition of bringing plants indoors and decorating them with shiny objects was deeply resonant with their cultural values. The crystalline Zyx Collective requested detailed specifications for candy canes, believing the red and white spiral pattern held some profound mathematical significance. But it was the concept of gift-giving that truly captured the galaxy's imagination. Species that had been bitter enemies for millennia found themselves awkwardly exchanging presents in New Hawaii Station's Grand Promenade, their ancient rivalries temporarily forgotten in the face of this novel human custom. I never expected this, Thrax confided to Captain Chen as they watched a Kataskan warrior earnestly attempt to wrap a present with his massive claws. In all my studies of human history, I never imagined your species would unite the galaxy through festivities. Chen smiled, sipping her hot chocolate. That's the real magic of Christmas, Thrax. It reminds us that peace isn't just the absence of war. It's the presence of something better, joy, generosity, connection. Although, she added with a laugh, I think we might need to clarify some things. The Zyx ambassador just requested specifications for a tactical sleigh capable of faster-than-light chimney insertion. As the Earth year 2157 drew to a close, New Hawaii Station had become the heart of a new era in galactic relations. The Phase Shift Council was already discussing plans for expanded cultural exchange programs, and there were rumors that humanity might even consider partial phase shift synchronization with trusted allies. But for Thrax, standing beneath the station's enormous Christmas tree with his new human friends, the political implications seemed secondary to the simple truth he had discovered. Sometimes the greatest diplomatic achievements don't come from grand strategies or shows of force, but from the simple act of learning to celebrate together. You know, he said to Lisa as they watched another group of alien diplomats arrive, I believe I finally understand why you humans chose to phase shift away from the galaxy all those years ago. Oh. Lisa raised an eyebrow. Why's that? You weren't hiding, Thrax's eyes sparkled with amusement. You were just waiting for the perfect moment to throw a Christmas party. Complications and carols. The success of the Christmas Star Initiative brought unexpected challenges. By the time Earth's calendar marked December 15, 2158, New Hawaii Station had transformed from a defensive outpost into the galaxy's most unique diplomatic hub. Captain Sarah Chen found herself dealing with an entirely new set of problems, none of which had been covered in her Starfleet training. The Zyx delegation is requesting permission to install quantum crystalline light displays across the station's exterior, Commander Williams reported during the morning briefing. They claim it's essential for achieving optimal festive resonance. And the Mrrrow? Chen asked, already dreading the answer. Still insisting that knocking objects off high surfaces is a traditional Earth Christmas activity. We've had to secure everything in the diplomatic wing. Lisa Martinez, recently promoted to Chief of Interspecies Cultural Affairs, pulled up a holographic display of the station's rapidly evolving layout. That's not even the biggest concern. The Kataskan Empire has submitted plans for what they're calling the greatest Christmas market in known space. Their engineering specs suggest they want to build a structure roughly the size of Manhattan. Thrax, now officially the Saranai ambassador to humanity, raised all three of his eye stalks in alarm. The Kataskans? Organizing a Christmas market? That's concerning. Because they're traditionally warriors? Chen asked. No, because they have terrible taste in color schemes. Have you seen their battle flags? All browns and muddy purples. Christmas deserves better. The meeting was interrupted by Arya's urgent announcement. Captain, we're detecting unusual phase shift signatures approaching the station. Pattern doesn't match any registered diplomatic vessels. The main screen lit up with tactical data. 3 ships had appeared at the edge of their phase space, their configurations unlike anything in the database. As the command staff watched, the vessels began broadcasting on all frequencies. Attention New Hawaii Station, a melodious voice filled the command center. This is High Harmonist Vielara of the Celestial Chorus. We have traveled from the Galactic core, drawn by tales of yore. Christmas carols. Chen exchanged puzzled looks with her staff. The Celestial Chorus was practically a legend, a reclusive species known for their advancement in music-based technologies. They hadn't engaged in diplomatic contact with anyone for over a millennium. They're requesting permission to dock, Arya reported. Their ships are singing the request. In perfect 4-part harmony. Well, Chen smiled, this should be interesting. Grant them clearance. Ambassador Thrax, would you join me in welcoming our musical guests? The Celestial Chorus proved to be as extraordinary as their reputation suggested. Tall, ethereal beings with translucent skin that pulsed with internal light in rhythm with their speech. High Harmonist Vielara towered over the welcoming committee, her mere presence causing the station's quantum field to resonate in subtle harmonics. We have monitored your species since your phase shift, Vielara explained as they toured the station. Fascinating, how you chose to separate yourselves from conflict. But it was not until we intercepted broadcasts of your Christmas celebrations that we understood. You have achieved something remarkable, the harmony of technology and spirit. I'm not sure I follow, Chen admitted. Vielara gestured to a group of human children teaching alien diplomats to sing Jingle Bells. The cacophony of mixed species attempting Earth music should have been painful, but somehow, it worked. Look at them, Vielara's skin pulsed with warm colors. Different species, different vocal ranges, even different concepts of music, yet they create harmony together. This is what we have sought for eons. Not mere technological advancement, but true resonance between civilizations. The arrival of the Celestial Chorus sparked a new phase in the cultural exchange. Their expertise in sonic technologies merged with human phase shift science in unexpected ways. They discovered that certain Christmas carols, when properly amplified through quantum harmonics, could actually stabilize phase shift fields. This led to an ambitious project, the Christmas Concordance. The plan was to create a massive quantum harmonic network that would allow for controlled phase shift synchronization across multiple species spaces, guided by the mathematical patterns found in human holiday music. But not everyone was pleased with these developments. Reports began reaching New Hawaii Station of discord in the outer systems. Some conservative factions saw the rapid adoption of human customs as a threat to their traditional ways. Others worried about the security implications of expanded phase shift access. The situation came to a head when a group of radical Kataskan separatists attempted to sabotage the Christmas market construction. Their plan might have succeeded if not for an unlikely hero, a young Kataskan warrior who had become absolutely devoted to the concept of Secret Santa, and happened to be monitoring the gift-wrap storage areas. "I don't understand," the warrior, Krell, explained after thwarting the attack. "They claim to protect our culture, yet they would destroy something that brings joy to so many. Is that not against the true spirit of both Christmas and the Warriors' Code?" The incident sparked intense debate throughout the galaxy. Videos of various species celebrating together, sharing their interpretations of Earth customs while adding their own unique traditions, began spreading across quantum channels. The Mrrrow contributed zero-gravity tree-climbing competitions. The Zyx created crystalline advent calendars that contained entire pocket universes behind each door. Even the notoriously pragmatic Vulpine Trading Collective got into the spirit, introducing efficiency-optimized, gift-wrapping techniques. But it was the Celestial Chorus's contribution that truly transformed the celebration. They composed what they called the Symphony of Unification, a massive musical piece that incorporated elements from every species' traditional songs alongside human Christmas carols. When performed through the quantum harmonic network, it created a stunning display of synchronized phase shift effects visible across multiple dimensions. "You know what's truly remarkable?" Thrax said to Captain Chen as they watched the first test performance from the observation deck. "A year ago, most species couldn't even pronounce Christmas correctly. Now look at them, they're adding to it, making it their own while respecting its essence." Chen nodded, watching the quantum auroras dance to Silent Night, performed in 17 different alien musical scales simultaneously. That's always been the real power of Christmas. It's not about forcing everyone to celebrate the same way. It's about finding your own way to share in the joy. Although, Thrax added with a twinkle in his crystalline eyes, I do think we need to address the Kataskan Santa situation. Their version has 4 arms and breathes fire. Let them have their fun, Chen laughed. As long as they don't actually try to build that antimatter-powered sleigh they keep proposing. As the year drew to a close, New Hawaii Station had become more than just a diplomatic hub, it was a living experiment in interspecies cooperation. The Christmas Star Initiative had evolved far beyond its original scope, creating connections that even the most optimistic planners hadn't anticipated. But challenges remained. As more species sought to participate in the cultural exchange, the station's resources were stretched thin. The phase shift network, while promising, was still experimental. And somewhere in the galaxy, those who opposed this new era of cooperation were planning their next move. Yet as Chen watched the station's first interspecies choir practice for the upcoming Christmas celebration, she couldn't help but feel optimistic. They had created something unprecedented, a place where ancient enemies could become friends, where traditions could be shared and transformed, and where the spirit of Christmas could quite literally transcend dimensions. "Captain," Arya interrupted her thoughts, "the Zyx delegation is requesting permission to attempt quantum-synchronized carol singing. They believe they've found a way to harmonize in 5 different phase states simultaneously." Chen smiled. Just another day at the galaxy's most unusual Christmas party. The Christmas Crisis. As December 23, 2158 approached, New Hawaii Station hummed with both excitement and tension. The upcoming Interstellar Christmas celebration promised to be the largest multicultural event in known galactic history. But beneath the festive surface, trouble was brewing. Captain Sarah Chen stared at the emergency reports flooding her neural interface, each more concerning than the last. The quantum harmonic network, designed to synchronize phase space across participating species territories, was showing dangerous fluctuations. The Celestial Chorus's calculations were perfect, High Harmonist Va Lara insisted, her bioluminescence pulsing with agitation. Something, or someone, is deliberately introducing discord into the network. Ambassador Thrax burst into the command center, all three eye stalks swiveling in different directions, a sign of extreme distress in his species. "Captain, we have confirmation. The separatist factions from multiple empires have formed an alliance. They're calling themselves the Preservers of Purity." "That's a bit on the nose," Commander Williams muttered. "They've launched simultaneous attacks on phase shift synchronization nodes across 7 systems," Thrax continued. "Their manifesto claims that human cultural contamination must be stopped before, and I quote, the entire galaxy succumbs to the madness of mixing species and singing songs about meteorologically enhanced ungulates." Rudolph, Lisa Martinez translated. "They're upset about Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer." The situation deteriorated rapidly. The Preservers of Purity had spent months infiltrating various diplomatic missions, gathering intelligence on human phase shift technology. Now they were using that knowledge to attack the very network meant to bring species together. "They're clever," Arya reported, projecting a tactical analysis. "Each attack creates quantum resonance patterns that disrupt our ability to maintain stable phase shift fields. If this continues, we could lose synchronization with all participating species. Billions would be cut off from the cultural exchange zones." Chen felt the weight of command settling heavily on her shoulders. They had worked so hard to build trust between species, to show that humanity's technology could be used to unite rather than divide. Now it was all at risk. But help arrived from an unexpected quarter. Krell, the young Kataskan warrior who had previously thwarted the Christmas market attack, requested an emergency audience. He arrived with representatives from every major species currently participating in the Christmas Star Initiative. "We have a solution," Krell announced, his massive frame barely fitting in the briefing room. "But it will require something unprecedented, complete trust between all our species." The plan was audacious. The Celestial Chorus would use their sonic technology to create a quantum resonance field based on Christmas carols. The Zyx would channel this through their crystalline matrices, creating a network of phase shift stabilization points. The Mrrrow would contribute their natural spatial awareness abilities to navigate between the shifting quantum states. And humanity would need to share the full specifications of their phase shift technology, something they had never done before. "It's risky," Chen admitted. "If this falls into the wrong hands." "With respect, Captain," Krell interrupted, "it's already in the wrong hands. The Preservers stole fragments of your technology. But they don't understand what we've learned here, that true strength comes from sharing, not hoarding. From celebrating differences, not fearing them." The debate raged for hours as the quantum harmonic network continued to destabilize. Finally, Chen made her decision. "Send the technical specifications to all our allies. And get me Earth Central Command, I have a crazy idea to pitch them." The next 24 hours were a blur of activity. As allied species worked to stabilize the network, humanity revealed another secret: they had developed a way to perform targeted phase shifts on an individual level. Combined with the Celestial Chorus's harmonic technology and the other species' contributions, this created something entirely new. The Preservers never stood a chance. As they attempted to launch their final attack on New Hawaii Station, they found their ships being phase-shifted into what Krell gleefully dubbed the Christmas Carol Dimension, a pocket universe where every surface played an endless loop of jingle bells, in Kataskan war chant style. "That's cruel," Thrax observed as they watched the Preservers' ships flail in confusion. "They can leave whenever they want," Chen replied. "They just have to synchronize their phase shift with the sound of peace and goodwill." "You're enjoying this," Lisa accused. "Guilty as charged. Though I admit, I never thought we'd weaponize Christmas music." But the real victory wasn't the defeat of the Preservers. As allied species worked together to repair and strengthen the quantum harmonic network, something remarkable happened. The very act of cooperation created new and stable quantum resonances. The network wasn't just being repaired, it was evolving. "It's beautiful," Lara breathed, her bioluminescence synchronizing with the quantum fluctuations. The mathematics of harmony, the physics of cooperation, they're the same thing. We just needed the right catalyst to see it. The celestial chorus's quantum sensors revealed that the new network was far more stable than the original. Each species' unique contribution had strengthened the whole, creating a self-sustaining system of cultural and technological exchange. You know what this means? Chen asked during an emergency council meeting. We don't need to maintain artificial barriers anymore. The network itself has become a bridge between our dimensions. And the preservers, someone asked. Still enjoying their musical timeout, Krell reported. Though a few have already requested to surrender. Apparently, the Kataskan version of Deck the Halls is particularly effective. As the crisis subsided, New Hawaii Station began preparing for the now-delayed Christmas celebration. But something had changed. What had started as humanity sharing their holiday had become something more, a true interstellar culture, where each species brought their own traditions and interpretations to the celebration. The Zyx created quantum snow that could fall upward and change colors based on emotions. The Mrrrow introduced a tradition of leaving gifts in hard-to-reach places, claiming it enhanced the joy of discovery. The celestial chorus composed new carols that could be sung in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Even the station itself had been transformed. The quantum harmonic network now allowed visitors to phase-shift freely between different cultural spaces, each celebrating the season in their own unique way while remaining connected to the whole. I must admit, Thrak said as he and Chen watched a group of Kataskan children teaching human kids their new version of Silent Night, which was considerably less silent but undeniably heartfelt. When I first made contact, I never imagined it would lead to this. That's the real miracle of Christmas, Chen replied. It's not about maintaining traditions exactly as they were. It's about the joy of sharing them and seeing them grow into something new. As if to emphasize her point, the station's quantum field suddenly lit up with aurora-like displays. The celestial chorus was testing their contribution to the upcoming celebration, a piece they called the Symphony of 1,000 Stars. But even as the station prepared for its greatest celebration yet, new challenges loomed on the horizon. The success of the Christmas Star Initiative had attracted attention from the furthest reaches of the galaxy. More species were arriving every day, each bringing their own hopes, fears, and interpretations of what it meant to celebrate together. And somewhere in the darkness between the stars, the remaining preservers were regrouping, planning their next move. But this time, they would face not just humanity, but a united galactic community that had learned the true power of harmony, both musical and cultural. The greatest gift. Christmas Eve, 2158, dawned unlike any other in human history. New Hawaii Station, once a fortress of isolation, now pulsed with the combined life force of 24 species from across the galaxy. The quantum harmonic network, strengthened by its recent trial, created sheets of aurora that danced between dimensions, visible from every participating world. Captain Sarah Chen stood in the station's newly constructed Grand Harmony Hall, surveying the final preparations for the first truly interstellar Christmas celebration. The vast chamber had been designed to accommodate beings of all sizes and environmental needs, with quantum-shifted spaces that allowed species from methane breathers to crystalline entities to share the same room comfortably. Final security sweep complete, Krell reported, his massive Kataskan frame now adorned with what appeared to be a tactical Santa suit. Though we did have to remove some suspicious packages the Mrrrow kept hiding in gravity-neutral zones. They insist it's traditional. Let them have their fun, Chen smiled. As long as nothing explodes or creates a temporal paradox, we're counting it as a win. The celebrations were set to be broadcast across the quantum harmonic network, reaching every participating world simultaneously. The celestial chorus had spent weeks preparing what they promised would be the most ambitious performance in galactic history, a symphony that would actually stabilize phase-shift harmonics across multiple dimensions through the power of music alone. But as the station hummed with anticipation, Ambassador Thrax burst into Chen's office, all three eyestalks rigid with concern. Captain, we have a situation. The remaining preservers, they've made their move. The tactical display told the story. The separatist faction had gathered a fleet at the edges of known space, comprised of ships from every major civilization. But instead of attacking, they were broadcasting a message, an ultimatum. "They're demanding we shut down the quantum harmonic network," Lisa Martinez reported, reading through the transmission. "They claim we're destroying the purity of their cultures. They're giving us until the start of the celebration to comply, or they'll initiate what they're calling the Great Separation, a forced phase shift that would permanently divide all species into isolated pocket dimensions." "Can they do that?" Chen asked. High Harmonist Vialara's bioluminescence pulsed with concern. "Unfortunately, yes. They've adapted our harmonic technology, combined with stolen phase shift data. The mathematics are troublingly sound." "But why now?" Krell demanded. "Why wait until this moment?" It was Arya who provided the answer. "Because of what we planned for tonight. The Celestial Chorus's performance isn't just music, it's the key to permanent quantum harmonization. Once completed, it would make separation between species virtually impossible. The Preservers see this as their last chance to maintain what they call cosmic purity." Chen felt the weight of history pressing down on her. Everything they'd worked for, all the bridges they'd built, were at risk. But as she looked out at the station's promenade, seeing humans and aliens alike preparing for the celebration, she realized something important. "Call an emergency council meeting," she ordered. "And get me Earth Central Command. I have an idea, but it's going to require everyone's cooperation." The plan that emerged was either brilliant or insane, possibly both. Instead of trying to stop the Preservers, they would invite them to witness the celebration. Not just as observers, but as participants. "You want to give them front row seats to their own failure?" Krell asked, confused. "No," Chen explained. "I want to give them a choice. Real choice, not just an ultimatum. Because that's what Christmas has always been about, the choice to come together, to celebrate despite our differences, not because they don't exist, but because we choose to see beyond them." The invitation went out across all frequencies. To everyone's surprise, the Preservers agreed to send representatives, if only, they claimed, to witness humanity's final mistake. As the celebration began, New Hawaii Station became a kaleidoscope of cultural fusion. The Zyx created crystalline Christmas trees that reflected memories of every participating species. The Mrrrow performed zero-gravity ballet around quantum-shifted ornaments. Kataskan Warriors sang carols in perfect harmony with the Celestial Chorus, their natural battle resonance adding depth to the ancient Earth songs. But the real magic began when the Celestial Chorus unveiled their masterpiece. The Symphony of Unity wasn't just music, it was mathematics made audible, the very frequency of cooperation translated into sound. As the performance built, the quantum harmonic network began to pulse in sync with the music. The Preserver representatives watched in stunned silence as their sensors confirmed what was happening. The symphony wasn't forcing unity, it was revealing connections that had always existed. Every species, every civilization, resonated at frequencies that complemented each other naturally. Their differences weren't flaws to be eliminated, but essential parts of a greater harmony. "You see," Chen addressed the Preserver delegation. "We're not destroying your cultures. We're showing how they're already connected. Christmas isn't about erasing differences, it's about celebrating them together." The moment of truth came as the symphony reached its crescendo. The Preservers had to choose, activate their separation protocol or accept the new reality unfolding before them. In that moment, something remarkable happened. A young Preserver, watching a group of children from different species building what they claimed was a quantum gingerbread house, made the first move. She stepped forward and asked to join them. Others followed, first hesitantly, then with growing enthusiasm. The great separation never happened. Instead, the galaxy witnessed what became known as the Great Harmony, a moment when the artificial barriers between species dissolved not through force, but through the simple act of choosing to celebrate together. Years later, historians would debate whether humanity had planned it all from the beginning. Had the phase shift been not a defensive measure, but a way to teach the galaxy a lesson about the true meaning of unity? Had Christmas been a carefully chosen cultural weapon, designed to break down barriers through the power of joy and celebration? Captain Chen never confirmed or denied these theories. She was too busy dealing with the aftermath of success, particularly the logistics of explaining to Earth Central Command why New Hawaii Station now hosted year-round Christmas celebrations in multiple quantum dimensions. You know what the greatest gift was? Thrax asked her one day, as they watched the station's quantum field shimmer with holiday lights. Not the technology, or even the celebration itself. It was the choice you gave everyone, the choice to be part of something bigger than themselves. Chen smiled, watching as a group of former preservers helped decorate a quantum-shifted Christmas tree while the celestial chorus performed a harmonic version of White Christmas that made actual snow fall upward through 5 dimensions. That's the real miracle of Christmas, she replied. It's not about forcing people together. It's about creating a space where they can choose to come together on their own. As New Hawaii Station continued its role as the galaxy's most unusual cultural center, the story of humanity's first alien Christmas became legend. But perhaps the most remarkable part wasn't how it began, but how it continued, with species across the galaxy adding their own traditions to the celebration while maintaining its essential spirit of peace, joy, and harmony. The quantum harmonic network became known as the Christmas lights, a permanent reminder that the best way to preserve what makes us unique is to share it with others. And if sometimes the Kataskan version of Jingle Bells caused minor seismic events, or the Mrrrow insisted on hiding presents in physically impossible locations, well, that was just part of the celebration. After all, as Captain Chen often said, Christmas isn't about perfection. It's about the joy of being imperfect together.